Alrighty, guys, welcome. Good morning and welcome to this Wednesday, July 8th. And so we got some action going on in the Middle East. We got a sell-off in front of us and a lot of overnight weakness. Trump's just made a pretty good statement there that he thinks the ceasefire is over. And it was pretty explicit talking about what he thinks about these guys. So in Iran, that is. So I guess that's what was causing this little sell-off. And so anyway, who knows what happens next? But I think that's going to be, I think that patience may just have run out, and these guys may just find out how how a weak of a hand they really have. Anyway, so down day. It looks like we got. It could be a pretty volatile day. We got a little pop hit back to the upside here. So who knows what it's going to be headline driven kind of a trading going into today. We don't have a lot of news to drive the market. We talked about that yesterday. The mortgage apps came out at 7. Those numbers were just kind of flat, a little bit on the downside. Overall, we have an oil report at 10:30. 10-year auction at 1, and Fed minutes coming out at 2. So that's what we got going in the morning. But it's throughout the day in terms of news. And I think this is going to be more of a headline-driven kind of a day. What's going on in the Middle East and the NATO summit is what's being parsed, especially in terms of if the kinetic actions kicks back in again on the Iranian side. So they have said, at least as far as statements, that they hit them pretty darn hard on the yesterday as a response for the shooting on the ships again. And but yes, that's to make. I had to say, wait, it doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, they gave them a week or time to bury their guy, and then they start shooting. It's like poking that bear. You keep poking it, stick something in the eye there until it gets really mad. I guess that's what the idea is. I don't know. It's like their logic defies common sense, I guess. So we headline-driven trading. We're starting off with a bias to the downside, and that's kind of how I have to get started. Let's see if there's any follow-through on this. As I said, I think we can see snapback trading on the upside. We can see snapback on the downside with the snap downs, I guess it becomes. But anything can happen today, depending on what the headlines are. If the market thinks there's kinetic activity going on, depending on what oil prices are doing. Oil prices are back up to 75 right now, 74, 75. They were down below at 68, 69 not too long ago, and now they are back up to 75 because of this. So oil prices probably driving a bit of market activity, but to be honest with you, I think this time it's going to be more of a forceful open of the straight. It's going to be a whole different approach if they go down, if it kicks back up again. So I'm not sure oil price is going to spike as it did. It depends on what they do to open that straight. So I traded with a lot of caution today. I looked for some snapback trades. It retraced back up here to reverse retest 75.30s and 75.50s. I would not be surprised if you get the retest of the 74.65s on the way down on the downside. But we were definitely back below that, right at that 75.10 support area or resistance area as it is right now. But it can go either way. It looks to me, though, if you look at the F1, how this whole thing is coming to balance. If I fold this together right now, this guy, I fold that guy together, you can start seeing a bigger distribution forming. Going back and forth a bit here, but we have an attractor area of volume down here at the 74.30s, a pretty good support area at 73.50. So that's going to be the key area for directional change in the bigger picture. These areas at the 75.10 is important still. It's still a volume edge there, but I think that's going to get less and less important as they trade back and forth here. So this upper distribution is kind of mellowing out a bit, and we're getting more activity back and forth there. So headline-driven trading is, I think, what we got in front of us. And I would just trade it as a range-bound market. Look for, I would favor the short side to get started, given what happened. Let's see if they're going to retrace it in the day session, or if they're going to see a retest at a low, potentially lower. It's going to be a market reaction kind of a dynamic. see how the algos run the market today based on headlines. So initially looking to sell strength against that 75.10s, 75.30s, 75.50s. If they trade up above 75.30s, I'm taking off that short bias, going back to range bound again. If they start trading below, I would say below that 74.80, that low from that prior rotation, retest that low at 74.65. These two support areas, if they're going to be trading below the 75.10s, I think we have a shot at retesting those. But I'm not going to start leaning in on the short side in a super big way until they really take out that 74.80s. Looking for that retest of 74.65 at that point. And then that would be the last one I would look for a buying opportunity against. Below that, bets are off. We are heading lower. So we'll see how the day session shapes up. But starting with a slight bias to the downside. If they start retracing these single print Ps, there could be a nice long trade in there for rotation up to test the 75.30s. But it could go either way. It's like headline-driven trading is not easy. So it's you come on your toes. Headline comes out. Someone says something. You have a big reaction right away. And these are algos running it, so you have to be really cautious and keep a tight stop. And if they get whacked, then just stay out of it. Because if you don't know what the headlines are, don't try to trade it. You know what I mean? Nasdaq also retracing. It actually started retracing pretty good right now. So Nasdaq is already back here, retracing back here to the mean. So it could be that there was a knee-jerk reaction here going into the based on what he said. I don't think it's. I think when he says something, it's going to be pretty much what's happening. So I'm thinking that we're heading back to kinetic action here. That's probably most likely what's coming. Market's initial reaction probably to the statement, and then we'll see if they where they go from there. So if this retracement is probably a long opportunity, see if they can get up here, reverse retest that 260 to 70, 29 260 to 70. But that's the support area we were defending yesterday. So, and they blew through that in the overnight pretty hard. So we'll see if they can't get up above that one pretty quick. I think we are heading lower, looking for retest to the low at that point. But same as the ES, starting with a slight bias to the downside. Looking to sell strength at least to get started, and then see if the market is going to try to retrace, or if it's there's going to be further weakness coming. So initially looking for short setups against that 160 with that trading, 210s, 260, 270s, 320s, maybe 320s. I did trade up above that 320s. I'm going to take off that short bias and going back range bound. Last one for short would be at the 400s here at the London high. So that's kind of how I'm going to get started. On the way down, not going to be very aggressive buying this at all. There may be buying opportunities here at the 29 100s, 2900s, and then 28 890s for rotations up again. So, but if they are heading back down here below that 29 and 100s, I think bets are off, and we are pretty much heading lower at that point. But headline-driven trading, they can run it lower, retest the low, they can retrace it right from there, right back up again. It could very well be that we'll be in the hands of algos running headlines. And then the best way to trade that is to try to find the direction of the headline direction. Like we had the initial reaction, a couple of bars on the downside like that. Okay, maybe have a direction. Try a flat out go with trade at that point. And then make you stop a little bit big, but that's the only way to kind of get on those. And if they turn out to be just a little like a knee-jerk reaction, then you just get you just get stomped out at that point. So that's how we get started. Big question right now: are we going to get further weakness? Are we going to see a retracement happening based on the knee-jerk reaction to what Trump was saying, and then we will take it from there. All right, so we know when to change our bias, and we know when to stick on the short side. So looking at the bonds, giving us a slight reaction, a little bit to the downside. So they're down here at the 110 or 111s now. So they were down back from the 113, 114 down to 111s. Yields are coming higher, and bond prices heading lower. So that's where we are. And I will probably trade it from the short side, at least to get started. If it starts trading above that 11, 18, 16 to 18, I'm taking off that short buy. So initially looking for short setups against the, well, not this, the 6/7s, they took that out already here, but the 11, 12 to 13s and the 16 to 18s here for rotations back down again. So those are two resistance areas. Above that 16 to 18, I'm going to start thinking alongside, okay, retracement trade, and start looking for that kind of dynamic. That's kind of where I'm at on that. Straightforward trading on the bonds, but again, we're just watching the headlines. Bond market is not as reactive as the rest of it, so you can take that with a grain of salt. So range bound trading biases to the downside on the bonds if you're trading that. Cryptos could be tradable today. We have a lot of action going on. Oil definitely has been up, so oil could be tradable today on the cryptos. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin is up to, it's kind of backed off a bit on the 64 to 63, so 64 to 62 now. Ethereum at 17 still, so going back and forth. I thought I had a shot at getting a little bit of a rally going there, but they kind of got knocked that down, so we'll see where they're going to go. But I think trading oil today on the crypto side of things could be a decent opportunity. We'll see. Right now they're backing off a little bit. Oil, so it was a knee-jerk reaction to the upside. Market backing off, but you watch if they the kinetic action continues or kicks back up again. Things are going to be probably going. Prices of oil probably going to get spiking a bit, and then you're most likely going to see a little bit more action happening. So that's where we are. Back to the ES and Nasdaq. Let's see. Nasdaq has retraced a little bit. Let's see how far they want to take it. But right now it looks like we're retracing, so it could be that long trade setting up. A little bit of ways to go on the upside, but as I said, I'm watching for weakness, continuation of weakness to see if that's going to materialize here early on in the session. All right, guys, we'll wrap it there. So just be prepared. Headline-driven trading most of the day, I think. So just be mindful and on your toes, right? All right, guys, we'll see you back at 11:30. So good trading, guys. We'll see you back then.